Can you give me a tentative price on what it would be to do that trip? Um, okay. Oh, no problem. I'm brand new at doing all of this too.
Okay, my name is Jean Woods, and I'm one of the participants for the CAO with the seniors program, which is called, what do they call that? I forget, I'll think about it.
So yeah, Ageless Wonders.
Ageless
That's what you're a part
Wonders,
of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good name.
Would you have named it anything else?
So, no, I thought it was good because after participating for a while, you can see how the name really is a good name for seniors. You know, there's so many things they are actually wonders in their own sense. You know, everybody has their own thing.
Ageless Wonders, CAO Ageless Wonders. When Mr. Kim, our exec now, had a conversation with me, he was talking about how sometimes his mother feels that seniors are put on the shelf. And he wanted an energized senior program. At that time, we were just probably called CAO seniors. And I would bug my coworkers that came in early in the morning, and I would ask them, what do you think we should do? What should the name be? And da 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 da, and on and on and on. And I can remember one day, Donna Deal and Kathy Washington, we were sitting in the cafeteria, and we kept throwing out names and throwing out names, and Ageless became the focal. And okay, Ageless what? You know, and Donna says Wonders. I said, that fits. And so she said, no, it's Ageless Wonders. Ah, and that's how we say it.
Station Marie McBride, December 9th, 1954. I have love for everybody in our group. They don't know it because I don't act like I don't show them my feelings, but I have love. That's my group. These are my people. We hang, you know. I love our group because it's like 12 women. We don't sit around gossiping and talking about who or this and that and the other, you know, and we love to get together and, you know, just come together. I love our group. I love Miss Yvonne. That's my girl. Although I never tell I love her, but I love Miss Yvonne. That is my girl, and I will do whatever I can for her. That's my girl.
Could you close your eyes for a second?
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to take me back to when you were a child and where you grew up, and I want you to explain that and describe it as best as you can,
Okay.
including all senses.
Okay, I can go back to before I started school. I started school at 4.5, and at that time they had a kindergarten and pre-primer before you went to first grade. But I was at home with my mother. My grandmother was still alive, but she was bedridden, and my mother went in the room and she came out crying. She went in the room to give my grandmother her lunch or breakfast. I can't remember which one it was, but she had died. She had died, and my mother was upset because she wasn't in the room with her, you know, when she passed. It was a hot day. I remember the curtains that, this is an old house. I remember the curtains were had blown tight to the screen. They had screens that were kind of portable. They stretched out and fit in there. And for some reason, that caught my attention when my mother came out of the room. And we didn't have a telephone then. There's some people did. A lady upstairs, she had a phone, and my mother called the doctor. Dr. Emil Sternberg. He was on Linwood Avenue, but I found that out later. And it took him a while to come. they had to come and pronounce her dead. Well, by then, some of the older kids, some of my older brothers and sisters had come home from school, and they kind of, kept me out of the way, so to speak, while things were happening. But it was so much hustle and bustle and folks running around, and that's one of the main things I remember about being, that young.
Can you close your eyes? And what do you remember about the place that you grew up? And can you paint a vivid picture of this for us?
I grew up in Angola, New York. My dad bought a farm. I could remember being on that farm. It was like a farm. We had chickens and pigs. We had gardens. We grew our own vegetables. We picked our own vegetables in the fall when they were living in Angola. We lived like 2 or 3 miles from a grocery store. So we couldn't go all the time unless we walked, because there was no buses run to take us. So we had what they call a pantry. And in the fall, my mom and us would can tomatoes, okra, corn, beans, peaches, pears. And we would have those staples to tide us over the winter. And even when we couldn't get out, and even we could get out, we always had this pantry with most whatever we needed. Not meats, but we needed dry food. So we had a land that with quite a few acres, 5 or 6, I think. When we went to school, we had to walk to school because we had no buses to pick us up. In the winter, we had to walk.
Yeah, I went to Bennett High School and was in the choir. I became a leader of sorts in the vocal area, and the music teacher would allow me to direct the choir sometimes, which is how I ended up at church directing the choir. We had, at that time, no real Black history teaching up until my junior year of high school, and it just opened up a different world. Never knew the things that Black authors were writing. Never thought that anybody would write plays that was African American.
I think my earliest memory is, I'm going to say of my first child when she was born.
What did that feel like?
I don't know, because I was drunk, so I literally went out on my due date and my water broke and went to the hospital and had her. But I was thrilled to have her. She was gorgeous, yeah. And I think I was too young to be having kids, but I did, have her. So yeah. Actually, that's not my first, well, that is my first child. Not my first pregnancy, but my first child. I had a set of twins when I was 15 that lived for like 3 hours. So, yeah, okay.
Okay, so if you guys can, come in closer. You can come in closer. Everybody come in closer. Almost like a semicircle around me. Come in closer. Remember, you guys have known me for 2 years now. No one's gonna get hurt. I promise. Yeah, please.
There's too many of us.
You said there's too many of us? That's what you think?
So we know you ain't gonna hurt us.
Oh,
And besides,
I like how
he
you're
told us-
thinking.
He told us how to do the bit.
Exactly.
I already boxed.
I did, at first I was like, what do you mean there's too many of you? And then now I get it. You guys are going to swarm me, if anything. So remember, yesterday what we were talking about. What is this called again? Does anybody remember? Yep, the negative plate or the cartridge, okay? Now, what are these pieces called? Nope. Negative goes inside, but that's good. Yep, almost. Not black, but it's the opposite of light. Dark slide. Okay, remember, this is our dark slide. So this one doesn't have any film in it, so you guys can mess around with this today. Remember, yesterday we had to pretend, but this is how this goes. So, cartridge. Remember this hatch that we had here? See how it's aimed a different way than it was yesterday? Yesterday it was horizontal, today it's vertical. That's so we can get a good portrait. Open, insert the cartridge, just like that, okay, right in the top. When you're ready to take your picture, remove your dark slide, just like that, okay? Take your picture. What happens to the dark slide? Put it back in, very good. Now it's back in, lock it in place if you need to, okay? That way we don't have any accidents. We don't open that up when we're pulling it out, okay? Pull, and then what do? Turn it around, put it right back in for your partner. That's it, okay?
Part of, as we know, when we do funerals, you have the legacy of that person's life. And I says, why are we waiting till you die, Grandma? The legacy walk is basically them telling their story. And it's really meant for their grands and great-grands. Their children should already know it. But they do a lot of things. I partnered with a lot of other agencies to bring programming. We don't have a lot of money for programming, and you can't just color, which we do a lot of. But we do also have a young man who has taught them how to take pictures with their phones, take pictures with cameras, and understand the development of it. And even if they wanted to use this as a jumping off point to do something else on their own, Vicente has been able to share his skills and be able to help them to pursue, and I'm hoping pursue, some artwork with it. He's even taught them a little bit of boxing. I don't know how much boxing they remember, but they got a few steps in there, something that he likes doing. And so it gives them some movement, some exercise. We're still trying to put programming, a good programming together. They like coming, if nothing else, for the visitation of each other. What happened over the weekend? Who went away on vacation? Who is sick? And they come together just to see each other more than my putting programming together. What happened that he was saying was important, and that's why the rapping became a serious music venture, because they used the music to tell what? The story of how they had to progress. I'm trying to show you how he was bringing one genre of music to another, but their cause was to save people. So when you talk about Elvis Presley taking all of those music from all those black people back in that day, it's still happening. Thank you. I want to bring you up to date. Don't stay stuck. Just get back.
My father was good at storytelling. He used to tell us stories. And he'd have me and my younger sister sitting on his knees, and Bear Rabbit, and Mr. Fox. But I can't get the stories right, but they would always be so funny. But the funny part was I didn't understand the story, but my father laughing would make me laugh, and it was like somebody was tickling you or something. It's a lot of good memories of my childhood. We didn't have anything. Between the upstairs and downstairs, there were actually 16 children that had nothing to do with the adults. But 16 children lived in that house. We didn't have anything, but we were happy. You know, as far as we knew, we had everything that we needed, and everything, you know, to enjoy. Never hungry. My father always managed to, you know, pave the way for food. He was a barber. A lot of times you got paid with food, you didn't get paid with, you know, cash. I remember that. They had food stamps then, but they were a booklet, and there was one for each kid, and then the adult, I think. Holidays was gorgeous. I can't imagine any kid now enjoying Christmas and Easter as much as we did. And really, you got really nothing. You got apple, oranges, and uh, a homemade box, probably shoe box. But it's you know, it's beautiful memories.
In the summer, we had berry farmers around us, and they would come and pick us up. And in the summer, when school was out, we'd go and pick berries. And we get paid for picking it. There was extra money we would have to help with our family putting our resources together. With my father being the only one working, and with 9 children, we all tried to help out as much as we could as we became of age. And that was like 16, 17. So he really took care of us, he and my mom. We had really bad winters when we were snowed in. We had to stay in because we couldn't get out. We just grew up together. And then when I got out of school and we started graduating school, my brothers enlisted in the different branches of the Army. One went to the Marines, one went to the Army, one was in the Navy, I think. I lost a couple of my brothers. I just lost one recently. I lost my baby brother. But we all learned from it. It happens, and we're just a family that worked together, loved each other, and did what we had to do to take care of each other. We didn't have a life of luxury. We had a life too. More, when I think about it now, we survived. My mom died at a young age. To me, it was a young age. And that's what, when I think about it, that's what hurts me a lot because I wasn't there. Same thing happened with my daughter. She passed away. Went to visit her, left her, and she passed away. I wasn't there when she passed away. We had to go back to the hospital. And those kind of things that I don't like to think about because it makes me think, why wasn't I where I was supposed to be? And I don't know why. I don't know why. But it bothered me a lot for a long time. And then I thought about it. There was nothing I could do if I was there. There was nothing I could do if I was with my mom, if I was there. So I reconciled myself to the fact that things happen for a reason, and you don't always know the reason. Maybe we'll never know the reason. These things happen. They happen to I'm not the only one that these things happen to. And I just give it put my strength into doing better, thinking better, living better, taking care of my family better, taking care of myself really better. And so loving my neighbors and loving people. I do. I just love people.
I remember my brothers, they wouldn't let me walk to school in the wintertime. They always carried me on their shoulders. They were like fathers, and that was because my father, he worked all day and usually late in the night. And maybe that's just me, but we had to have dinner and breakfast with my father. And my mother would get up early in the morning and make biscuits, homemade biscuits or rolls. Saturdays was always a big day at 489 Jefferson. That was where we lived. Saturdays was the girls got their hair washed and pressed. Those that were old enough got theirs pressed. We got ours braided. But the radio, there were certain stories that and things that my mother listened to if it was evening. Like in the daytime, it would be Tom Mix and Let's Pretend. Those were children's stories. It was a close family. Everything we did, we did together. Meals had to be together. They made it a special point of making sure that all the kids were safe, and if you cried, it was a big thing, because really there wasn't much to cry about. Usually if you cried, it was because something you wanted you couldn't have. But it was a strict family. They didn't take any foolishness. You had to behave in school. You had to go to school. And my brother rather, I missed my brother because they were so close to me. Those were the ones that really, really kind of handled me. But the oldest brother went into the service, and I was so upset about that. But I was old enough that one of the things that we had to do was read the paper, and I used to read Dorothy Dix. And I really couldn't write a letter too well, so I cut out the Dorothy Dix column and sent them to my brother. Now, my mother would say she mailed them every day. I know he got most of them if he didn't get all of them, because he would write me back. And when he came home, we had to learn how to do his shirts. There were a certain way that shirts had to be ironed. They had to be starched, and these they're not pleats, they're folds, and you had to press them. And if you didn't do it right, you had to wet them, put them in the refrigerator again, and starch them and all that stuff, and start all over. It was a happy life. It was busy, but there just so much happened. Just so much happened, and it wasn't just family; it was community, because everybody kind of took care of everybody. If there was a disaster, a death, or accident or something, the whole community kind of responded. Not just on the street, but on Madison. We lived Jefferson. Madison was the next street over, and the backyards would meet, and you could tell that the people were just as close, to each other as the ones on the block that you lived.
Well, my mother died when I was 7, so we were sent into foster care. And, we had foster parents that some cared about the kids and some didn't care about, foster parents get a stipend for children that they keep, so someone's just interested in the money. We had some foster parents that were verbally abusive. We had some foster parents that were sexually abusive. We had a bunch of foster parents. We had one lady that was like really, really nice, but she was extremely nice to us. But back then, when they were putting kids in foster home, they didn't want you to stay with the foster parents too long, because they didn't want you to get attached. So they would move us from foster home to foster home. I think I went to like 4 different foster homes. And then I think the last one was a group home. They sent me to a group home. And it was a little rough on us. It was rough on all of us. So we were all separated. I don't think I seen my family again until I was maybe 12, 13 years old. And then we all got back together, so we're tight now, you know. But for years we was separated. For years we didn't see each other. I had a foster mother that used to tell me I would buy Christmas presents for my brothers and sisters, and you know I was wrapping them, and she walked in the room and said, "You're never gonna see your family again. So take your family's names off of those presents and put my family's names on the presents," which I thought was the worst thing in the world. So I don't buy Christmas presents for people. I buy for my kids, and my kids only because it's my family. I have to take care of my family. I raised my children to do everything as one. I got 5 kids. I raised them to do everything together because I did not want to see them separated like we were. Yeah. That's it. I'm not getting emotional. Leave me alone. Cash, we picking up your grandmother?
No, Stacy, I'm not coming today.
Oh, okay. All righty.
Okay, babe.
Bye-bye. Right.
So I have to do this.
Yeah, there you go. You'll stand right there and you'll be in the shot. Okay? And remember, I will be with all of you during all of this, okay? So now you got that in there. What do? Yes. Take your picture. Boom. Pull. And then who do you hand it to? There we go. Remember that dark
Pull
slide.
that black, the one that's closer to that
Yep,
wall.
there we go. So pull that one for me. Let me see that. Okay, so now that you got that, you keep that with you.
Hold this.
This is your trigger. So act like you're about to press it.
Take the picture
Yep.
from the person.
Yep, you hear it click. So now that she's in focus, okay, and now that you see her in focus, we're gonna act like we're taking the picture, okay?
But I don't see her face.
Oh, come over just a little bit
Look.
and get close. Get close. Get very close. See her now?
You're looking weird. See what I'm talking about?
Yep. Yep, I see her.
Okay.
See that? She's right there.
Okay,
She's
got
just upside down. Okay?
Okay.
There you go. See, and that's the funny thing, right? All you see is the red shirt, but her head is at the bottom of that.
Oh,
Okay?
I see.
So she's always gonna be upside down.
I
Okay?
know.
I'm glad that you like looked at that though. I'm glad that you saw that. So now, here's what we do. See this hinge? Pull the hinge. Cartridge goes in. Okay? Once that's in, you pull the dark slide that's closest to your subject. So that's the one in the front. See how there's one in the back? There's one in the front.
Okay.
The one that's in the front. Take the picture. Put this back in. And then pull the hinge. Pull your cartridge. Okay? So here, I'm gonna have you try it.
Really, how to be a young lady or to socialize, more or less. How to dress. But then the boys would tell you if you didn't dress right. My brother would tell me, "Oh, that don't look good on you. Don't wear that." But if you look nice, they tell you. My father was one of the main ones that would say, "Oh, look at my little angel, my little girl." You know, he had a way of saying things. If discipline, he really didn't discipline us. He'd take us in in the room where he used to cut hair and just sit there and talk to you. He said, "You know, Mom don't want you to get in trouble. You get in trouble with Mom, and you know I can't help you because you know Mom's got the right to say what happens." And as I got older, I wonder why did Mom have so much to say, you know. But then as I got even older, I understood why Mom has so much to say.
Not of this time, but when you were younger, when you were speaking about living in Angola, who would have been the most influential person to you back then?
I think my mother, because she was with us at all times. She was always telling us, giving us advice, teaching us, showing us, helping us, letting us learn how to do things, and giving advice about different things while you're growing up and when you're growing up, and how to do different things. Teaching me, I started teaching me how to cook, teaching me how to make biscuits, how to make cornbread, how to just do whatever needs to be done, teaching me that you need an education, because it's the only way you're going to get anywhere. We weren't in the position to have schooling paid for us higher than high school. We had to learn we had to know to get to school. And schooling was one of the things that I liked, really loved going to school. I really enjoyed going to school. I really enjoyed learning.
You know, like I said, they were good parents. You know, I really can't say I was ever abused or whatnot, but they were firm. If they said no, that was it. You know, and it wasn't for just like today. So you know, until you learn how to behave and you learn how to handle yourself.
And to this day, I love my father because my father he wasn't allowed to see us. He wasn't allowed to see us, but he would come to every foster home that they put us in. He would come, they would take him out in handcuffs, and he would say, I'm going out the door. You can put them wherever you want to put them, but I'm going to find them because they mine. And he found them, you know.
Well, my parents obviously were the mentors, were the disciplinarians, were the teachers that allowed me to expand and explore opportunities. They were the first.
It was a close family. It had to be close for survival, truthfully, you know. There were dangerous situations, you know, by my father being a barber, we were exposed to a lot of older men, and, you know, they would take advantage if they could, you know, and so that was one reason why my father gave up a shop, you know, because he didn't want them around his girls. He almost got in some serious trouble about one of the guys saying something to my older sister, and she had had surgery, and it let her sit on the porch, and I remember she ran in the house. My father was cutting hair, and at that point he was shaving somebody, and he ran outside and he grabbed the man and threw him down, and he had the razor. I'll never forget. They held the razor a certain way, and he had the razor back, and my mother told him, said, don't do that. She said, we need you, you know. I was in the doorway, and I was young, you know. A lot of things really didn't make sense to me until I got older, you know. Those people weren't here all those years for nothing. You know, they must have some wits that down the road you're gonna, you know, have to take their experiences and kind of learn from them in order to make some choices on your own. Yeah.
Stand up if you can and come around. On Thursday is going to be our official last day of this workshop. That means today we practice making our cyanotypes. Now, some of you were here for when we did sun prints with our last workshop. Does everybody remember that? That was here? Sun prints are essentially just big prints of photographs that we're making with solar fast or light sensitive paint. Okay? Now, light sensitive paint means this. As soon as I apply this paint to this paper is now light sensitive. When I put a negative or a positive on top of that paper, and I put this outside to expose it to UV light, that means that a print will print onto this paper. You will be making a photograph without having to put anything through a printer, okay? Once the light hits this paper, when that paint is on this paper, you have a photographic print. What do you think the difference is going to be between these two? If everything is black as white on here and everything is white as black, and then everything looks exactly the way that it should, what's going to happen when I make this into a photographic print? Reverse, very good. So this, even though this looks right here, this will be everything that is black is white, everything that is white is black, and this will be everything that is black is going to be white, and everything that is white is black. They will be opposites. okay? And here's what I have for this too, even though they're two different pictures altogether. This is you.
I thought it was.
This is you right here, okay? All I want you to get down today is the process of applying the paint to the paper, putting your negative onto the paper, securing it onto the paper. I will take it outside so it can get exposed for 3 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna bring it back inside and you guys are going to wash your prints.
What's something that you learned from the photo workshops that you did?
Association problem with the photographs. You know, how you showed us how the light and putting how now see how can you do that? The displays that we were doing, and how one thing would bring out the whole feature of the picture. Association, you expand your mind, you know, and then everything comes together. Just like, you know, you were saying, you use one music and art, and you can bring them all together. Who would thought like that? I would, you know, pay no attention to nothing like that. But then by experiencing with you and other people, the other ones, you can see how it would all come together. It's nature, I guess, or art, or I don't know how to explain it, but you can put it together. Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but photography is being aware of where you are.
You know, I learned a lot from the photography class. I learned how to interact with people. Like I would get Carol or Denise or Cynthia or somebody that said, I don't know how to work this camera. And I would show them how to work the camera. You can work this. It's a piece of cake. I would show them how to do it. You can do this. I think it was a good thing that we did.
Pictures has been a part of my life, just all my life. My brother, he loved taking pictures. I have pictures, and I don't know why, but they're so old, they fade away. You know, you can't see actually the full picture. And I remember my first camera. And then I had, I think, did I show you my Polaroid? I still have that Polaroid camera. You can't even get the thing, you know, what is it, negative something you had to put in there and take the picture, and it would flash. Big old flash would blind you. So pictures has been in our life for a long time. This is my, okay, this is my father. That's my brother's flag. But that's my brother. That's the one I tell you that I was so crazy about. I loved them both, but this one was really, I don't have a picture of my younger brother.
I never took pictures. Never been my thing.
Do you think the experience has opened you up to making more pictures with your family now?
It does, because, yeah, I want to get a camera now and take pictures now. And, matter of fact, you got my memory card or whatever it is. Yeah, and so we're going to cook for the holiday. We're going to cook for Labor Day. And it's going to be Poppy's birthday. So it's my intention to have a little get-together for Poppy for his birthday and take some pictures of my family and put them in my legacy book so they can have them to look at. I like the legacy book that we're making. I was just talking to my granddaughter on the phone today, and I was telling her that I was making a legacy book and that I was doing a page for each one of them. And my daughter was saying, I don't want to hear nothing that you, Shimon, was saying, I don't want to hear what you wrote about me. I said, oh, but you're going to love what I wrote about you. But I want them to see it, you know. And my granddaughter was saying, well, I can't wait to read it. So my daughter was going to say, well, you can't read it until she dies, so it's a legacy book. So I said, well, she can read it. She come in the house and I finished the book, and she opened it and want to look at her page. She can look at her page and see what I wrote about her, you know. And I got a journal that I write in, and I told my kids, I want you to read this journal when I'm gone, because I want them to see. I talk to God in this journal, and I want them to see how often that I pray for them, and I want them to know that with God everything is possible. So, yeah, I like the legacy too. I told them I'm gonna finish my book so everybody could be, because they'll walk in the house now and be like, let me see the legacy book. And yeah, so I got to finish putting their pictures in there and finish my book up.
That means that it has to be tighter onto the paper. So we have to make sure that it's secure.
All right, now what I want you to do too is keep good watch of the paper. Watch what happens as soon as you put it out onto the table.
Oh, okay.
So this is my second time or third time here. So how did you come about coming here?
Oh, okay. So when I was working at the AKG, well, it's called the AKG now, but it was the Albright Knox Art Gallery.
Okay.
I was the art truck program coordinator. So it was my job to bring this big, almost food truck of different art supplies to different community centers, schools, and organizations all over Western New York, and bring free art activities. Like, it was my job to coordinate free art activities.
Oh, okay.
And Miss Yvonne had called for the art truck about 2.5 years ago. And I came with the truck, and we had kind of just become friends after that.
Oh, that's
and
great.
I left the museum a year ago, and I was still visiting just to visit.
Oh.
And now I'm here doing this.
That's
I mean,
wonderful.
I'm a photographer by trade. That's what I do. That's
Oh,
that's my art. That's my medium. And Yvonne asked me if I would want to do anything with you guys, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do some photo workshops.
That's wonderful.
So now you guys get to make photographs.
Wow.
Hope that you're enjoying it.
I am.
A college dropout. My father decided that since I was not going to pay attention and that I was loose and fancy free, it was time for me to come home. So I ended up working at CAO part-time. And I worked full-time, even though I was only paid part-time. When I think of going from what then was called neighborhood services to youth development, I had the pleasure, and these two people, Houston Bernardo and at that time Elsie Elliott, who is now Elsie Elliott Turner, molded me to be the supervisor, gave me reins that no one else had, and trusted me. There's many times over my career that I felt that it was beyond the call of duty to do it. I remember in high school learning the French Revolution and stuff like that, and one of the soldiers, Napoleon, was talking to the troops, and he told them to, whatever battle they were in, they asked how high to jump. He said, how high? Jump as high as you can. I jumped as high as I could whenever called.
What would you say is your ideal for the perfect community? What would you make?
I'd go right back to that.
Okay.
Honestly, people weren't greedy. They shared. They had empathy, sympathy. But I think those days was much nicer than now. People didn't have, and there was prejudice and whatnot, but there was still more closeness. They shared, and I don't know, it was just closer. Yeah.
We should all live in a community where people care about each other. Our communities where if they need help, you help each other.
I believe that community should and is people of common values, that my neighbor is just as important to me as my family is. Therefore, I'm not going to do anything against my neighbor that would hurt my neighbor.
Oh, while you're waiting for this.
The air got up underneath.
So, what's your jab hand again? What did we talk about? Are you a southpaw or orthodox? You're orthodox, right?
Yeah.
You're right-handed, right?
Right-handed.
Okay, very good. So remember, put that foot out a little bit further out, okay? And when we throw that jab, you make sure that elbow stays down. Boom.
Close.
It's always rotating and it's always close, okay? There you go. So when you throw that quick jab that you were just talking about, remember, throw it out, bring back, throw it out. But now, what I want you to do is, as funny as this is going to sound, as silly as this is going to sound, go pop, pop. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
So make the sound.
Oh,
So make the sound while you do it.
pop, pop.
Okay. So you heard that pop, pop, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is a trick that we use every once in a while. Try to make your cadence quicker. So when you go pop, pop, I know that that's my pop, 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 and then I go a little bit faster. Pop, 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 pop. So the quicker I go with that sound, the quicker my hand's gonna move.
Oh.
It's a little trick. Okay. So try it.
Pop, pop.
Good.
Pop, pop.
Good.
Pop, pop.
Good.
If you're going to do something, right, make it big. Make it memorable. You don't want something that's going to look like a little piece of dirt. Okay, what do they want to do down at Tops? They want to make it what? They want it to be a landmark. And what do you do at landmarks? Yes, it stays forever. And it's symbolic of what? Whatever took place. In this case, they want to remember the lives that were lost at that time. Okay? So, if we don't go to those meetings, what happens? No, it doesn't go away. What happens? We can't complain about what happens later, right? You've had a choice, and they've got one more meeting coming up to voice what you would like to see that is symbolic and a landmark representing those lives that's lost. So, I'm going to ask you the question, what would you like to see done? Come on. What other ideas do we have? We got a lot to complain about, right? Don't we do a lot of complaining?
If there was a goal or something that you've always had on your mind that you've always wanted to do within your wildest dreams, whatever it is, let's say 5 years down the line you have a chance to do that thing, what would it be?
Expand my education and to spread it.
We lived in Lackawanna. My dad has gotten a piano teacher for me, and I was taking piano lessons. I love the piano. But then he moved me to Angola, and I can't get to the lessons. I don't know. The piano is the main thing that I really would have liked to have done.
I think I would have probably had a restaurant. I really love to cook.
I'd go to college and finish it. Yeah. I'd probably a teacher.
Does anybody remember about what year that camera was made and how old that camera is, or the age compared to some of you here when it comes to that camera? This one was in the 40s. So some of you are actually older than this camera and some of you are younger than this camera, okay? And I kind of like this idea of you being able to use this piece of equipment that I know how to use, but now you know how to use because it is from your era. Like, maybe you never got to use something like this back then, and that's absolutely okay. Back in the 60s, back in the 50s, back in the 40s, but now you get to use it and you get to create something really cool with that. And one of my favorite things in the world when it came to like doing this workshop was actually getting to see the negatives that you guys ended up shooting, because some of you did a really beautiful job. And making prints of your images is very important. Remember, we talked about how it's okay to make pictures all that you want to on your phones. It's okay to make them on your cameras if you have cameras. But nothing really happens with those pictures unless you print them out. Remember, you don't want to keep them just digital. You don't want them to just be like fragments of information on a card, because if that card gets damaged, they're gone. So one thing that I think that is very important that all of you should be doing, that I would like you to get into the habit of, not just within the workshop that we did, but outside of that for years to come, is making sure that if you have availability with someone, or if you have the availability of someone else's help, or you decide that you can take a drive, make prints. Always make prints. It's worth the money to make prints. They're only, what, a couple cents a piece, all right? And the more prints you make, the more you have left over for people to understand your history or your trajectory, where you've gone, the things that you've done, okay? Because when you think about all the ways that you've had history logged within your family, I mean, you have photo albums. You have things that you could look at all day.
What is your personal definition, your personal definition of home?
Home, where the heart is. That's a place you can go when you can't go no place else. You can always go home.
Home is a place where you prepare and grow up with your family. It's a place to love and to give care to people and take care of people.
Home is wherever my kids are. So if we're all in the one room shanty, that's home to me because I'm satisfied. I could literally live in one room with all 5 kids, all 8 grandkids, and all 3 great grandkids, and I would be happy as a lark. I would just sit there and I would cook for them and I help them clean or whatever they needed to do, and I would just cook for them. That's home to me. That is home to me. Wherever my family is home.
Do you think that home could be a person then?
A person? I guess so. Well, my children are, yeah, because I think my children are my home, yeah.
Where is home? You know, you come in here, you're going to my mother's, I might go to you, my brother's. But yeah, that's home. Yeah, because it's where the heart is.
Elizabeth Pringle is a person who loves her family. She's very family orientated. She is very conscious of what goes around her as much as she can. She likes to associate with people, meet people.
Who is Station Marie McBride?
I'm a mother, a grandmother, a great-grandmother. I love the Lord, and I love my brothers and sisters. I'm just family oriented. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Who is Jean? That's a good question. I don't know. I might be many things, you know. I'm happy at this point in my life. I can say that. I have my emotional moments, you know. I spend a lot of time alone. Well, I spend a lot of time with my dog. I spend a lot of time outdoors. So I've got many. Maybe I'm nuts, or maybe I got too many personalities. But I really can't say who I am. I'm just me. I just try to be me.
Who is Yvonne Ariston?
She's a passionate person. She loves people who love her back, and even those who don't love her, she'll find a way to like you. She can be funny with people who she's close to, but mostly she's a disciplinarian, you know. She has a routine, and usually you can follow that routine. She loves her family very dearly. Obviously, she loves the work she does. And if there's any way that she can help anybody in that work, she will do it. It's just about people. And she loves being around people. And she loves to be alone. She doesn't mind being alone. Solitude. Yeah. That's Yvonne.